Hi folks, this is Jason. Hope you're okay today. It's good to see you, and hope everybody's okay today. Thanks for those who subscribed. It's great to have you on board, and the button's at the top of the video if you want to subscribe. And it's good to have you, and I hope everybody's okay. Someone's tweeting me at the moment. We're having a good discussion on sovereignty and freedom of the will, which is really interesting, and I'm enjoying that little chat. But anyhow, I just want to share with you about intellectual laziness, and I really believe this is the case with a lot of atheism out there on YouTube. Now, that might sound surprising when you've got people like No Plum 99, and you've got Aronra, and you've got Thunderfort. You've got these very able people who are able intellectually to say that out there, with people like Theoretical Bullshit, who's an atheist out there, and Bionic Dance, and Coffee with Claire, and Live Life, and out there to say that there's intellectual laziness with all these people making their videos, and who are quite thought-provoking and do a lot of thinking themselves. It's quite a big statement to make. So what do I mean by intellectual laziness? Well, I think these YouTubers who are pumping out their stuff like Thunderfoot and all the ones that I've mentioned, and even more, you know, lots of them, from Atheist Experience to No Stamp Collector to Go Green 18 to Xenia Jones to Pat Condell, etc. They've got a rhetoric. Each one of them has a rhetoric. Each one of them has a particular motive. Often that motive is to debunk Christianity in some way, and to foster some kind of polarization between the Christian and the secular, with the hope of winning a large number of secular people over to their position. So because of this desire to debunk Christianity and a desire to make polarization, debates and discussion are focused on those agendas, which is more to do with propaganda. It's more to do with trying to win a propaganda war, trying to demonize your opponent, etc. And I think the sad thing is the real big questions of what is the meaning of life, of questions like what is love, questions like history, what is the purpose of history, where is history going, how do we live life, how do we form ourselves as a society, how do we develop as a society. The big questions, the big questions in art, you know, what is art, the big questions of philosophy, you know, the big questions of ethics, etc. They're often they're not really discussed in any depth. Everything's politicized, and I think that's intellectual laziness. And you can see that in people's discussion under the videos. People, maybe a very rare, maybe, you know, a very one or two, but the massive overwhelming evidence is just people are just not interested in the big questions. I can prove that to you. I've made 3 videos on Jean-Paul Sartre, David Hume and Spinoza. Three great minds in history, and those videos will only get a few people watching them. But if I do a video where I say President Obama get involved, or doing a harangue against atheism, loads of people will watch it. You know, so where's the value there? The value is they want something more exciting, something more entertaining, something more off the wall. People are just not interested in the big questions. They're not going for the Sartre, they're not going for the David Hume, they're not going for the Spinoza, they're going for the sensational, the things that just seem off the wall to them. You know, and so I think that's intellectual laziness, really. And really the only way to change that is for people to really say, well, you know, what is the meaning of life, and to enter in open discussion, and to learn and to explore more, and to be willing to explore and to read widely, read the atheists, read the Christian theologians, and think more deeply, really. So I think at the moment, I do think that atheism at the present time is intellectual laziness, and the atheism around on YouTube at the moment is promoting intellectual laziness, from Aronra to Thunderfoot, because of this politicization and this propaganda, this desire to affect what they're trying to affect. It's spoiling proper academic discussion and debate, and polarizing people where they need to be thinking about bigger issues. That's what I think. And also, it's taking our minds off important issues. I mean, we should be discussing about what's happening with the banking crisis, what's happening in Europe, what's happening in the Middle East. We should be discussing those topics, both Christian and atheist, and we're not. We're getting bogged down with these kind of propaganda wars, which is spoiling everything and stopping us thinking on the bigger international picture of the things that we need to be doing. That's what I think. You know, we should be talking about the Syrian uprising and things like that, but no, people are not interested in these big questions. They're just interested in sensational propaganda stuff. We're all in it. I think everybody's involved in it, and I think we need to be more serious in our engagement. So I'll try and make more videos on Spinoza and people like that. Alright, thanks for listening. Take care. What do you think? Leave your comments. God bless.